Have you ever felt invisible? Like you're just a background character in someone else's success story? Marcus Thompson felt that way every single night. At 3 a.m., pushing a cleaning cart through the gleaming offices of Silicon Valley's hottest tech startup, he was practically a ghost. But Marcus had a secret that would turn his life upside down. This is the true story of how a homeless janitor used the one thing nobody could take from him, his willingness to learn, to build a multi-million-dollar empire. And I promise you, by the end of this story, you'll never look at your own circumstances the same way again. It all starts in San Francisco. Marcus Thompson was 34 years old, and his home was a 1997 Honda Civic. After the economic downturn wiped out his construction job, he found himself bouncing between shelters and his car. His wife had left him. His family had all but given up. He had just a few dollars to his name and a high school diploma that felt completely worthless. But Marcus held on to something powerful, an unshakable belief that this wasn't his ending. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. He finally landed a job as a night janitor at TechFlow, a rapidly growing software company. $12 an hour, working the midnight to 8 a.m. shift. It was far from glamorous, but it was honest work. And most importantly, it gave him access. This is where Marcus's story takes a truly unexpected turn. Every night, long after the programmers and engineers had gone home, Marcus would clean their desks. And every night he noticed the same thing. Their computer screens were always left on, glowing with lines of code, complex algorithms, and software development platforms. Most people would have just cleaned around them and moved on. But Marcus? He started reading. At first, it was like trying to decipher an alien language. Python, JavaScript, API integrations, it might as well have been ancient hieroglyphics. But right there, surrounded by the silent hum of servers, Marcus made a life-altering decision. He was going to teach himself to code. He started with free YouTube tutorials on his cracked iPhone. He devoured lessons on Khan Academy, Codecademy, and Free Code Camp. During his 8-hour shift, he developed a routine. He'd clean for 6 hours, and then, for the last 2, he'd sit down and study, learning the very skills that built the multi-million-dollar company he was cleaning. For 6 intense months, this was his life. He finally learned enough to build his very first application, a simple task management tool. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. One morning, just before his shift ended, he took a risk and left the application open on the break room computer. A few hours later, Sarah Chen, TechFlow's chief technology officer, walked in for her morning coffee. She saw the unfamiliar application on the screen. Intrigued, she clicked through it. Her eyes widened. "Who built this?" she asked the morning shift manager. I don't know," he shrugged. "Must have been one of the engineers testing something." But Sarah knew better. The code was raw, a little unpolished. But it had something that many of her seasoned engineers lacked: a brilliant, practical simplicity. She dug a little deeper and checked the login credentials used to create it. Marcus Thompson, the janitor. The next day, Sarah waited for Marcus. When he arrived for his midnight shift, she was there to meet him. "Marcus," she said, "we need to talk." His heart sank. He was sure he was about to be fired for using company property. "I saw your application," she began. "Where did you learn to code?" He stammered. "On YouTube, and here after hours. I'm so sorry if I—" Sarah cut him off. "Don't apologize," she said, a smile spreading across her face. "How would you like to join our engineering team?" Just like that, Marcus went from janitor to junior developer. His pay jumped from $12 an hour to $75,000 a year. But here's what truly separates Marcus from everyone else. He didn't get comfortable. He didn't stop. While other developers worked a standard 9 to 5, Marcus continued to work from 9 in the morning until midnight. He used that extra time to study software architecture, master cloud computing, and dive into machine learning algorithms. That same hunger that drove him to study while mopping floors now fueled his obsession with excellence. Within 2 years, Marcus had risen through the ranks to become TechFlow's lead developer. But he had a bigger vision. During his time at the company, he'd noticed a huge problem. Small businesses were being crushed by expensive, overly complicated software. What if there was a simpler, more accessible solution? In 2018, Marcus took the biggest leap of his life. He quit his 6-figure job and launched his own company, SimplifyOps, a no-code business automation platform designed for everyday entrepreneurs. He pitched his idea to 47 different investors. 46 of them said no. But the 47th investor was a venture capitalist named Robert Hayes. After Marcus finished his passionate pitch, Robert looked him in the eye and said 4 words that changed his life forever. "I believe in you." With $2 million in seed funding, SimplifyOps was born. By 2020, the company had 10,000 customers. And by 2022, it was acquired by a major tech giant for an astonishing $47 million. Marcus Thompson, the homeless janitor who taught himself to code at 3 in the morning, was now a multimillionaire. Today, Marcus runs a foundation that teaches coding and tech skills to homeless individuals, giving them the same access that changed his life. He still wakes up at 3 a.m., not to clean offices, but to mentor the next generation of dreamers who refuse to be defined by their circumstances. When asked about his incredible journey, Marcus says something profound. "I wasn't special. I wasn't the smartest person in the room, but I was the hungriest. And I never ever stopped learning." So, I want to ask you a question. What would you do if you had access to the same resources as the people you admire most? Because here's the truth, you already do. The internet has democratized knowledge. It's all there for the taking. The only real question is, are you hungry enough to use it? If Marcus's story inspired you, please hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who needs to hear that their beginning doesn't have to be their end. Remember, your circumstances don't define you. Your choices do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.